Hi there. The recording is getting started, but I'm going to take a few minutes to get everything ready and to get our Facebook live stream feed going. All right. Well, we are live on Facebook. I wanted to get everything kind of set up and ready, make sure we weren't going to have any tech glitches for when we got everything set up. Our Zoom class is set for 5 o'clock, which is just a few more minutes. So if you are catching us on Facebook, welcome. If you would like to join our Zoom, all you need to do is scroll back from my Facebook post from earlier today. The Zoom code with the link and everything is listed in there too. So you are welcome to just view us on Facebook, or if you'd like to jump into the Zoom so that you can join the class and have the opportunity to interact and ask questions and stuff, that's okay too. Oh, I'm excited for our class. We've had a lot to get ready for. So I've got some people coming into the waiting room. All right. Hi. You're the first one here, and it's okay if you can leave your audio on, or if you want to turn it off. We're going to be able to ask questions in the chat if anybody wants to. In a few minutes, we'll start the PowerPoint. We're on Facebook Live also. So I'm going to take a second and I'm going to drink my Ningxia juice while we are just hanging out, because our Ningxia juice is what we'll be talking about. And we'll wait for everybody to get plugged into our Zoom. Let's see if Facebook has us on live. Maybe soon. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes. Let's see, let me click around on here. All right. Yeah. So how are you doing? You had a good Thanksgiving? I hope everybody had a good holiday and lots of good food and good family. All right. We're on Facebook Live. So if anybody who's scrolling Facebook is just tuning in, we are just getting started. It's not quite 5 o'clock yet. If you're on the East Coast, it's probably just about 8 o'clock. I timed it for everybody so that whether you are on the West Coast or the East Coast, you could jump in and join us. Because a lot of times I do stuff that's about 7 or 8 p.m. my time, but that would be way too late for my Michigan friends and family. So we're doing things a little bit earlier for you guys today too. Yes, I am sucking down my Ningxia packet, packed with all of the goodness. I can't wait to share with you guys everything that our Ningxia Wolfberries have in it, because it's all the good stuff. And we've got a PowerPoint for you with lots of information. So also too, if anybody wants to take notes, there is going to be a lot of information. So if you've got a little scrap paper or a pen or a notebook or anything that you like to take notes in, you can go ahead and grab that. I don't want to jump in too quick before we have more people tuning in. So I'm going to wait a few more minutes. We'll go over some housekeeping and some introductions and all that good stuff too. I know our Zoom is waiting for everybody, but on Facebook, once you're live, you're live. So Facebook friends, if you are scrolling by and tuning in, that is cool. Please be patient with us while we're kind of hanging out here and waiting for all the Zoom people to come on in. This was new for me. I've done Facebook Live things and that's pretty cool and easy. And I've done Zoom things because I teach reading classes on Zoom. I had to learn how to combine that and live stream our Zoom class. So that's kind of cool. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone because I've never done that. I've never taught a class and then put it out on my Facebook Live. So if you guys are tuning in, I hope you enjoy the information that we're going to be sharing. And again, if you would like to join the Zoom so that you can interact with us and ask questions and stuff, then you are welcome to scroll back to my post from a little bit earlier today. And it has the Zoom code of how you can get into our Zoom class, but it's all good too if you just want to tune in on Facebook Live. Let's see. And also our class will be recorded too for anybody who might not be able to catch our whole class right now. Our class is being recorded. So you can, again, you can either come back to my Facebook Live or you can let us know if you'd like the Zoom link, and you can either rewatch it. If you wanted to take some more notes, you can rewatch it, or catch the rest of it if you've got to take off early or something today too. All right, we've got lots of people jumping on. Hi Gwen, hi Jill, hey Steve, hi you guys, welcome. All right, we got Tiffany coming in. We got my mom up there in the corner. Yeah, all right. I hope everybody had a beautiful and blessed Thanksgiving. I have been so excited for this class. I scheduled it about a month ago. I kind of put it on the books and spent the entire month studying all of the awesome research that I am going to be sharing with you guys. And let me just tell you, there is a lot. There is a lot to know about the Ningxia Wolfberries. And so it took me a while to put the whole PowerPoint together. There's lots of really cute little things that we share on Facebook and in our social media wellness groups and stuff. Cute little graphics that have little snippets of information. And this is kind of a lot more than that. This is like all of the research that's going into all of it that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. Let's see. So we've got a handful of people on. I'm going to go ahead and give a formal introduction for myself. And the first thing I'm going to do is give you my disclaimer, which is I'm not a doctor or a medical professional. The information that we're going to be sharing today is for informational purposes only, just for education. And I won't be diagnosing or treating or prescribing or recommending anything medical for anybody. So I'll be sharing a lot of research, and feel free to ask questions. And whatever you decide to do with that research for your own personal health and wellness is completely up to you. My name is Nina Cecina, and I am a special education teacher with a master's degree, but even though I did that for 20 years, 2.5 years ago, my husband and I kind of hit the restart button on life, moved up to Washington State to start a wellness and counseling ministry. Because part of my testimony is overcoming autoimmune disease with alternative treatments. When Western medicine had failed me, I had to turn to other holistic and alternative treatments in order to get myself back into good health. And so that kind of broadened my scope of, you know, what are the things, what are the foods and supplements and things that I want to use for me that's going to keep me healthy. And some of that was herbal supplements. Later on down the line, I started learning the whole world of essential oils. And that kind of brought me into Young Living and all of the great things that they have to offer. We are going to be talking about wolfberries today, which are also known as goji berries, kind of like potato. Ningxia wolfberries are a variety of goji berries. And I have been eating goji berries for a long time because they're very well known in Chinese medicine. And I used to go to the Chinese herb shops in Chinatown and buy pounds of goji berries and bring them home. And then when I started learning about the Ningxia Wolfberry juice and Ningxia Red and all of that, I kind of went, oh, that's those goji berries. I know about those. Let's see, everybody's kind of tuning in. You guys have your microphones muted. That's totally cool. You are welcome to ask questions if you'd like to. If you want to unmute yourself to jump in with a question, feel free to interrupt briefly. You can also use the chat box if you'd like to type.
Yeah, the chat is currently disabled.
Interesting. Did I do that by accident?
Possibly. I've never seen it disabled.
Let me see if I can enable it. Let's see.
Hi guys, my name is Tiffany, Tiffany Vergano, and I'm kind of going to help Nina just MC. Typically, I look at the chats and any questions or anything that she may have missed, I just bring it to her attention. And we are a team. We work together. You may have seen some of my emails. That is me. If you ever have any questions, you can also reach out to myself. I'm more than happy to help you with whatever it is that we need to look up.
Awesome.
Nina, were you happen to get that chat? Yeah, she got the chat up.
And Bella just popped up. You know what's funny is when I do reading classes with kiddos, I usually, it must be on my computer, I disable the chat, or else I've got elementary school kids talking amongst themselves during my reading lessons. So I turn the chat off, and I think that's what happened. So chat is available. And
I will be watching that and making sure that she catches all of your guys' questions.
Thank you. This is awesome, you guys. We have such a great group of people tuning in so far. I am going to start off with, if our poll is working, yes, I'm going to start off with a poll for you guys. So this poll right up here on the screen says, what is your current health goal? And you can click on as many of those things as you would like. There's also one at the bottom that says all of the above. But go ahead and give a click on that. I'm curious to know just kind of where people are coming from, what your concerns might be, what kind of aspects of health you might have questions about. And we'll get to see, yeah. Good, thanks you guys. Thanks for clicking on those. I like the participation that these little polls have to offer. Yes, immunity, definitely important right now. Good.
Nina, did you make me a co-host?
See, I'm not sure I did, Tiffany. How can I do that
okay.
now?
I was just wondering.
Late? Okay.
No, you don't have to worry about it. I was just wondering.
And Jeanette, the poll should be coming up on your screen. It looks like a lot of people, I have 8 people that have clicked on the poll. Jeanette, were you able to find that? It should be like right on the screen for you to click on.
It's not for me for some reason.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, that's actually okay because I do have the slide. I have the poll questions on a slide when we get to the PowerPoint. So you could even, once we put that up, you could even drop your, drop a comment and let me know what you're kind of focusing on. So this is, you know, it's kind of across the board. These are all very important aspects of our health. Definitely immunity is kind of at the top of our foremind right now. And I'm going to go ahead and click end for polling, and it will show us the results. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the poll away, and let's see. I'm going to get ready to screen share. So I've got a PowerPoint.
Nina, can you please
And everybody is welcome to, yeah.
Can you please read the choices just from the poll and what those were, or show the slide for our Facebook Livers?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. How do I do that?
So share your screen and go to your PowerPoint slide that you have that poll on.
Oh, for the poll questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's going to be like our second slide. So once I start the PowerPoint, that's going to be our next slide. So let me go ahead.
Great.
I'll go ahead and screen share. And make sure, let's see.
I'm trying to watch both Facebook Live questions and in-chat questions on Zoom, so I'm double timing, guys.
Okay, no, thank you, Tiffany. You are awesome. I super appreciate it. So yes, the wonderful Wolfberry. And let's go ahead and get started. So our poll questions, if anybody wasn't able to see those because they were tuning in on live, our current health goals. Now, these are actually the chapters of the book where all of the research came out of. We're going to be talking about all of these today. So you might be interested in cutting the risk of cancer, healthy heart, liver support, diabetes, mental health, protect against toxins, increasing vitamins and minerals, slowing down the aging process, or all of the above. And I just noticed that what's missing from our slide is immune support. I'm not sure how that happened, but also immune support is an excellent aspect of the Ningxia Wolfberry. So if you're on Facebook Live, or if you didn't have access to our poll, if you wanted to use the chat box, you could give us a letter A or B or C or whatever. And it just kind of helps us to consider and really be mindful of our health and what our wellness goals are. And all of these things are listed, including immune system support, because the Ningxia Wolfberries can help us in all of these areas. Now, all of the research that I'm sharing with you guys is coming from this book that was written by Gary Young, and it's called The Ningxia Wolfberry, the Ultimate Superfood. This book is like the Wolfberry Bible of research. And I'll share with you some personal testimonies. And when I'm sharing personal opinions, I will let you guys know that, because all of what I'm going to be sharing on the PowerPoint slides came directly from this book. The amount of research that's been done on wolfberries is astounding. And I kind of, you know, in my older years have become quite a science and chemistry nerd. I love learning the research. I realized about my own personal learning, I want to know why and I want to know how. When I started learning about essential oils and everybody says, okay, well, this oil is going to help, you know, this or that. And I will go, okay, but I need to know why and I need to know how. And so I really started digging into chemistry on stuff like that. Same for the wolfberries. We're going to talk about why and how for immune support and for mental health and for all those different things that were on the poll. Now,
don't freak out, guys, if you hear the word chemistry, because she's not going to like go into depth of chemistry. Okay. She breaks it down really simple. Today. Don't worry about that.
Right? No periodic tables today, but There was so much information in the book, I had to condense it into PowerPoint bullet points, which means you're getting a taste of what the book has to offer. So if you would like more information on any topic or on any piece of research, I couldn't cite every single study on the PowerPoint slide. And that hurts my heart too, because for somebody who wants to give credit to every researcher, I couldn't do that on every slide. So if there's a study or a statistic or something that you're curious about and you want more information, or you want to know, like, where was that study done or who did that study, let me know, drop it in the comments, and I will get you that information. I will go back into the book and I will get you the page number and the whole citation on that. So what on earth is a wolfberry? That's me at the Young Living Farm wanting to hug the wolfberry tree because I love it so much, but it was covered in bees. So I think Tiffany snapped a picture of me and then I backed off. But the wolfberry is a variety of a goji berry. And so goji berries might be something that you're familiar with, or that maybe you've at least heard of, or you've seen packages of them at the health food store. The Ningxia berries are very specific to a region in China. The Ningxia berries grow in the Yellow River floodplain, and because they get their water from the Himalayan mountains, they get lots of minerals and organic nutrients that regular goji berries that grow in different regions don't get. So that's one difference between just grabbing some goji berries at the health food store or on Amazon versus getting the Ningxia wolfberries that were grown in Ningxia. Traditional Chinese medicine uses Ningxia wolfberries for patients with deficiencies of the liver, the kidneys, diabetes, and vision problems. And traditional Chinese medicine goes back hundreds of years. So using the goji berries or the wolfberries is tried and true if you're talking about Chinese medicine. And here's a fun fact. There's a Chinese swimmer named Wu Yanyan who was almost accused of doping back in 1994. Her secret weapon was wolfberries. They enhanced her performance so much, she almost got in trouble. So I found that interesting. Here's a map of China. So if you're curious about, so where do those Ningxia wolfberries grow? Where is Ningxia in China? It's that little red spot right in the middle. But Ningxia is nothing new, right? If we're talking about Chinese medicine, the Ningxia berries have been used for a long time. Statistics from the Regional Health Bureau in Ningxia show that the area has over 16 times as many centenarians, that means 100-year-old people, as the rest of China. This is what got Gary Young's attention when he wanted to start finding out about health and longevity. He started looking at different groups, different cultural groups of people who lived long amounts of time. And when he started looking at people in this specific region in China, he found that these people lived, they had 16 times as many 100-year-old people as anybody else in China. That got his attention, and he started studying the Ningxia wolfberries. Let's see, there we go. Prior to 1995, though, the US Customs import agents had no idea what wolfberries were, and they deemed them a peculiar substance. So in 95, when Gary Young wanted to start bringing Ningxia berries back to the United States, and if you travel, you know, there's things you're allowed to pass across borders and things you're not. Anything agricultural or fruit or produce or whatever, you cannot bring back and forth across borders, whether that's US and Mexico, whether that's US and China. The Ningxia berries got seized at the border because nobody in the US knew what they were. No idea what the wolfberries were. They did. Now, When they do that, they have to seize the product and they have to run a whole bunch of tests before they'll allow it into the country. The Ningxia Wolfberries passed the customs tests for mold, yeast, bacteria, pesticides, and Gary Young was allowed to bring them in. The rest is history, right? But I just thought that was funny that prior to 95, nobody in the US even knew what a wolfberry was. So when we're talking about aging and illness, we need to talk about free radicals. Free radicals are the byproducts of cellular function. So think about the engine in your car. Think about how your car runs, right? You've got the engine runs. All of the byproducts of that engine process go out the tailpipe of your car in exhaust. Your car engine is built to release its toxins so that they don't stay in your engine. However, our bodies also metabolize our fuel, but our bodies don't have that automatic exhaust pipe. All those free radicals, which are like the car exhaust, those stay in our bodies unless we have antioxidants that are going to take those away. We're going to talk about antioxidants a little bit more in a minute. But free radicals themselves come from normal metabolism, the food and beverages that we eat, the oxygen and atmospheric pollutants. All of that causes free radicals to happen in our body. Those of us who might live on a diet that has sugar fortified and processed foods do end up with more internal pollution and free radicals. Again, that makes us want to be mindful of what we're putting in our bodies, because once we metabolize that, we might end up with more things in there that we don't want. Cancer is a disease of cumulative DNA damage and aging. The primary safeguard that keeps cancer cells in check is a robust immune system. And so what you're going to find as we go through the information on our slides, there's going to be a lot of overlap. We are going to talk more about cancer. We are going to talk more about the immune system. If free radicals simply kill the cell, right? So we've got the free radicals going on in there. They're not good for us. Best case scenario, if free radicals just killed the cell dead, it wouldn't be so bad. But what happens, because the body could just regenerate a new cell. The problem is the free radicals often injure the cell, damaging the DNA, and that creates the seed for disease. So the free radicals damage our DNA, and that's not what we want to happen. All right, so antioxidants are like the Pac-Man that are going to eat up all the free radicals. So picture your free radicals like all those little spots on Pac-Man, and your antioxidants are the Pac-Man that's going to come and eat them up. So antioxidants we want. When they start measuring antioxidants and their power, they use a scale called ORAC, which stands for Oxygen Radical Absorption Capacity. Now look at the ORAC numbers on these foods. The Ningxia Wolfberry has a score of 303. The acai berry is 184, pomegranate's 105, and blueberry 32. Because we think, usually when we think antioxidants, we think, ooh, pomegranates, ooh, blueberries, and acai. Ningxia Wolfberry is 303. That makes it the highest antioxidant food on earth. That's really powerful. Also, total side note, clove essential oil has an ORAC score of 1 million. So even though our class isn't really talking about oils right now, you guys know that they're near and dear to my heart. And clove oil has an ORAC score of over 1 million if we're just talking antioxidant scores. A June 2006 study, found that consuming Ningxia Wolfberry polysaccharides was able to almost completely reverse the DNA and oxidative damage caused by diabetes. So here's just some general nutrition information about the wolfberries. They have 67 times the thiamine, which is vitamin B1, of brown rice. And it mentions brown rice because that's known for being very high, but the Ningxia Wolfberries is 67 times as high. 2 times the niacin or vitamin B3 of baker's yeast. 3 times the vitamin C of raw oranges. We always think of oranges as being the be all end all of vitamin C. Not true. 5 times the calcium of raw cauliflower. We're going to talk more about some studies about calcium later on too, so hang on to that. And 2 times the beta carotene of raw spinach. And 18 amino acids. So the wolfberries are jam-packed with nutrition. In a later slide, there's also the whole nutritional profile if you want to know how many grams or milligrams of everything. It is a nutritional superhero. The Ningxia Wolfberry is the richest known whole food source of natural vitamin B1. Thiamine is essential for proper energy production, carbohydrate metabolism, and thyroid function. So if any of these things are something that you might be struggling with, and you might want to pay attention to your B1, wolfberries would be a great addition to your diet.
I just want to make a comment here,
Yes.
Nina. Even if you don't know that you are possibly having like any issues, this is great preventative stuff.
Yes.
Because I know for me, I eat spinach every single day with my eggs. And for me, I know that there's no way that I'm going to eat all of this stuff. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, I try and do my best, and it is what it is. So if I can supplement my diet with just 1 or 2 ounces of Ningxia every day, it made my life a whole lot easier. And I know that I'm doing a lot better for my health and my wellness. I know that for me and for my boyfriend, Steve, if we don't have our Ningxia, our energy levels also drop. And just on like a side note, as far as like moods, especially during this time when we want to connect with people and we might have like dips in certain vitamins and minerals and stuff like that, especially because it has B and C in it. B and C's are known for helping with depression. Again, we're not doctors or anything like that. I can show you the studies outside of this that show getting higher C's and B's in your system help regulate your mood. So if that's something that you're also looking for, keep that in mind, because I know for myself, I have struggled in the past with depression, and several of you on here can absolutely testify to that. And you've seen me like go through my swings. I have evened out as long as I have some Ningxia on hand. So you better believe I don't ever run out of Ningxia.
Yes.
So I just wanted to add that in because it is so important for me to have this so I'm more regulated.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that testimony too, because our testimonies are so powerful in all of that. Thank you, Tiffany. And a lot of times we think about bananas as being the best source of potassium. And what they actually found was that 3-ounce serving of dried wolfberries contains nearly 1,600 milligrams of potassium, which is 4 times the amount than 3 ounces of bananas. So they're even higher in potassium than what we typically think of. Potassium is the single most important mineral to human health and longevity, being essential for normal electrolyte and pH balance within the cells. So we can't let our potassium take a back seat when we're paying attention to our health.
Nina, we have a question here.
Yeah.
And Zella is asking, is all of this contained in the 2-ounce daily Ningxia Red drink?
And Zella gets a prize for asking the same question that I like to ask. So yes, what we're going to find later on one of the later slides, there's a slide with all the nutritional information and all of the milligrams, or however things are measured. in 100 grams of wolfberries. So when all of this gets estimated, because like this is saying in 3 ounces or whatever, the nutritional tag is going to tell us in 100 grams of wolfberries, here's everything that's in that. 100 grams of wolfberries is about 1 measuring cup full of the dried berries. You know, when they're dried, think kind of like red looking raisins. So 1 cup. The one piece of information that I have not found yet, and I'm still on a quest, is how many ounces of the juice would it take to equal the 100 grams that they tell us on the nutritional information. What we do know about the juice is it's not an extracted juice. You know, like most juice, like in a juicer, they extract the juice and they throw out the fiber. The Ningxia juice is the juice, it's the puree of the berry. So you're not losing all of the fiber and the protein and all of that. So you do get the full fruit in the cup, however many ounces you drink. But Anzella, thank you for asking that question. I don't have an exact number of ounces on that yet, but I am seeking that answer. And as soon as I find it, I will let you guys know.
I have a video that I can share. I just don't have that capability right now. But Anzella,
Sure.
there is a 1 ounce video and everything that's in that, and it's like 714
Right.
blueberries and the vitamin C count of this, and like it's ridiculously high.
Right.
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I can definitely find it for you.
Yeah, we can link that in the group too. All right, so fiber. The Ningxia wolfberries are very high in fiber. Again, don't let fiber take a back seat. We can all joke about the body process that fiber helps us do, but that is on purpose. So the Ningxia wolfberries are 21% fiber. And the importance of fiber in our diet is that it actually lowers our risk of cancer because it speeds up intestinal flow, minimizing our exposure to harmful toxins or harmful substances. So when you think about that, if we eat something that might have harmful substances in it, that might be some food that's not organic and it might have some pesticide residue or whatever. If that food sits too long in our colon, we are upping our risk for colon cancer, or even we're going to learn some statistics about stomach cancer. So the more fiber we eat and we can keep that food moving and on its way out, the less time it sits in our digestive tract if it's going to cause a problem.
Really quick,
Fiber
Nina,
also, yes.
we have a question, and I know you're talking about fiber, but did you happen to have a slide on thyroid specifically?
Not specifically, but I can jot that down and find out some more information on that, and I can look in the book and find some information on that.
Okay, so
Definitely.
Rose asked if Ningxia assists in balancing the thyroid function back to normal or close to normal. And Rose, for me, I know that because of what and how our body works together, I would say yes, if even indirectly, because of how your body works together. And I've read the book too. I have it here, and I will find that snippet of how it works, because obviously this is Nina's class, and I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. And in the slide, when it talked about, and I forget if it was vitamin B1 or B3 or really all the B vitamins that do support the thyroid, and the Ningxia juice does support all body systems. So we do know that it does support the thyroid. Again, wherever your body system balance is, it wouldn't be for me to say that we would be able to do something to, when we start talking about normal thyroid levels, that I want to be careful walking on that line of like medical advice. But I do know that all of those B vitamins are going to be very supportive to the thyroid. Let's see, better control of blood sugar levels. So high fiber foods that have low glycemic index and can help, and also lowering the risk of heart disease. Fiber and minerals are required for proper metabolism of fats. And so just the fiber alone helps in all of these different ways and may eliminate excess cholesterol. So improving immunity, and I know myself included, immune system support is kind of at the top of our priority list right now. For me personally, because I did struggle with my immune system for so many years, overcoming autoimmune disease, even when my autoimmune disease came into remission, and I can say, praise God, I've been in remission for 15 years. I've never had a relapse of my autoimmune disease. So to God be the glory, absolutely. But what I did find in those 15 years was that I would get every cold, every flu, every germ. I was a classroom teacher with little kids, and I did have to be fiercely protective of my immune system because I did catch a lot of things. When I started A, using essential oils, and B, drinking the Ningxia juice, I have stayed above the wellness line, and let's just say I have not taken a sick day off work in a lot of years. And that was a huge testament to myself and my health, to see my immune system get supported in a way that I didn't have that lowered immunity where I was catching things all the time.
So just to backtrack just a little bit, Tori, who is also a wonderful part of our team, she's actually been in this much longer. Her advice was Ningxia Red paired with the supplement of multigreens is amazing for thyroid.
Awesome.
So just
Tori,
wanted to throw that out there for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Great to know. All right, and here's another study. Back in 1988, a report from the State Scientific and Technological Commission in China had a study that included 50 volunteers. After consuming 50 grams of wolfberries, so that's about like a half a cup, for 10 days, they showed a 700-point increase in their white blood cell count, a 10% jump in their lymphocyte transformation rates, and a 75% leap in immune globulin A. So that's a study that shows exactly how that helps the immune system. The Ningxia Wolfberry also, the polysaccharide, stimulates the production of interleukin-2, which is a non-inflammatory part of immunity that protects against cancer and cancer cell and microbial, hang on, I gotta see my screen, invasion, sorry. I've got our panel of video on one side, so sometimes I have to move that around to see all my slides on my screen. Now, interleukin-2 might be something maybe you have or have not heard of. What it actually does in your body is it trains your B cells and your T cells in your immune system how to do their job. Their job is to fight foreign invaders and cancer. Now, here's the thing. Raised cortisol lowers your interleukin-2, like a seesaw, right? Our cortisol goes up, your interleukin-2 goes down. When that happens, you're actually suppressing your immune system and leaving it susceptible to illness and cancer when we're under prolonged periods of stress or struggle managing our emotions over long periods of time, including anger, bitterness, worry, etc. And so I want to mention here at this point that that higher level of cortisol when we're stressed, when we're going through, what we're going through right now with pandemics and that, there's raised mental health issues because of what's going on right now. When our cortisol stays up too long and our interleukin-2 falls down, your interleukin-2 is now no longer training those B cells and T cells to kill the cancer and to kill the viruses and the bacteria and whatever foreign invaders we have, which, not only do we need to keep that in check, health-wise, physical health-wise, But it's that stress level that affects our mental health, that affects our immune system. And so it's that vicious cycle of we need to keep our mental health good, in check, or else that will suppress our immune system too. I fully believe that the autoimmune illness that I was diagnosed with was not a surprise. I mean, the word for it was idiopathic, which just means doctors have not figured out why this happened to you. I know it was from a toxic level of stress that I had in my life at that time. So when people say like, oh, why did you get autoimmune disease? Or did your doctors figure out what went wrong with you? No, they didn't, but I did. A toxic level of stress for a prolonged period of time triggered the autoimmune disease that I might have been predisposed to, but that was the switch that clicked it on. We want to make sure that we are mindful of managing our stress. L-arginine is a semi-essential amino acid. That's another buzzword that's going to pop up here on a few different slides. It boosts the natural killer cells. Natural killer cells are powerful immune cells that can detect virally infected or mutated cancerous cells and tag them for destruction. Guess what? Ningxia wolfberries are very high in L-arginine. The dried wolfberry has 5 times as much zinc as Brussels sprouts, which are also known for being high in zinc. Zinc plays an essential role in the production of natural killer cells, immune globulin, that's what IgG stands for, gamma interferon, and tumor necrosis. That's the death of tumors. Bring on the death of the tumors with our zinc and our wolfberries. Ningxia wolfberry can promote the growth of beneficial bacteria in the gastrointestinal system. Yes, and that is really through prebiotic. You know, we hear about prebiotic and probiotic, and sometimes we go, oh my gosh, what's the difference? Here's the easiest way to understand that. Prebiotic is what your probiotics feed on. So you want prebiotics so that all your probiotics in your gut are happy and plentiful, because our gut is home to 70% of our immune system. Take care of your gut. It's where your immune system lives, at least 70% of it.
Yes, I just want to touch on that too. And we kind of blew right past that 70%. But when you think about that, 70%, that's a huge chunk coming from your gut. Plus, there's a gut-brain connection. So if you can boost your gut flora and your microbiomes and all of that good bacteria with the prebiotic, which Ningxia will help with, to feed and boost all of that in your system, bring your immune system up. That's so important, you guys. 70%, I cannot stress how big that is. That is coming from all of your gut. So if you're not sure where to start, I highly recommend starting with your gut and Ningxia Red, because that's going to start boosting up your immune system, which is going to help start boosting up some of your other systems, because your immune system isn't being weighed down and heavy from all these other things that it's trying to fight off. So feed it, get it some good stuff. That way it can bring the rest of you up.
Amen. And thank you for mentioning that gut-brain connection too, because the wolfberries are really good for the brain and the mind. And a big part of that is because of all of that stuff going on in the gut. We actually have more gut bacteria than we do cells in our body. That statistics always kind of blows my mind too. It's like I've got more things living in my gut than I do on my cells. So talking about inflammation and arthritis, and again, inflammation is a thumbs down if we're talking about immune system and autoimmune disease too. So a big one for me is keeping control of the inflammation that can happen to me. Gluten actually does a whole inflammation thing to me, totally off topic, but we're talking about inflammation. People who consume the most beta-cryptozanthin, there's another vocabulary word for us, were only half as likely to develop inflammatory arthritis compared to those who consume the least. What is beta-cryptozanthin? It is a form, it's related to beta-carotene. So when we think about carrots and beta-carotene and how good beta-carotene is for us, beta-cryptozanthin is related to that. Medical practitioners throughout Asia have long relied on Ningxia wolfberries and its extractions in their pharmacopoeias for arthritis. So again, a lot of times when we're thinking holistic and we think about arthritis and we go, should I use an essential oil for that? Or what should I use for arthritis? What can I use topically that might help my inflammation and arthritis? And though there are things that can help topically, but the Ningxia wolfberries are very high in the compounds that also support reduction of inflammation that can help arthritis. Before we move on, Tiffany, I see comments kind of popping up in there. Does anybody have any questions I should answer before we move on?
So just a couple of comments, not necessarily questions. Rose had mentioned that she wants to order multi-greens, and I was like, yes, get that on your essential rewards.
Awesome.
ER is the best. She also mentioned that she has some ER rewards points to use, and I told her that I just ordered $374 worth of supplements and products, but I only paid $7 because of all of the perks and benefits of my ER. So I only paid $7 and that was for shipping. So that was kind of nice.
Awesome.
Who here wants $374 worth of free stuff?
Yeah, we're going to talk at the end of the class when everybody wants to get their hands on Ningxia Red or the wolfberries. We're going to talk about some great ways and some deals and promos to help get some stuff in people's hands. And that is a great point to bring up.
Yeah.
So talking about, So we're going to talk.
Sorry.
No, that was awesome. Thank you. We're going to talk about cancer for a few minutes. I know, it's a topic that weighs heavy on all of our hearts. And also we always want to be supporting our bodies in the prevention way. And also for anyone who needs to support their bodies through with anything that they're going through, whether that's cancer treatments or whether that's just reclaiming their health. The fact is that your chances of contracting cancer do increase with age. Other than age, the greatest risk factor for accelerating cancer development is exposure to chemical carcinogens, including the food we eat and how we prepare it. And the book goes into this long dialogue that really would make you hate me as the messenger because it goes into food preparation and how we prepare and cook our food, because those of us who love the char-broiled, overcooked steak that has kind of like the char on the outside, that's a carcinogen. And that's what they're talking about when they're talking about consuming chemical carcinogens. Peanuts are also very high in a carcinogen called aflatoxin B1. That's going to come up on another slide. But peanuts are also very high in toxins that are known as carcinogens. It's why a lot of health practitioners, and when I learned about this, I switched over from peanut and peanut butter to other nut butters, almond butter, cashew butter. A lot of health practitioners will totally obliterate peanut themselves from the diet. It's not actually a nut, and it's very high in like molds and like carcinogen things. The most common cancer is stomach cancer, and I didn't realize that that was the top statistically. It is the first organ impacted by food chemicals. So no matter what we consume, whether that's chemical carcinogens, whether that's not organic food that has pesticides, no matter what it is, it goes into our stomach first. And so stomach cancer gets the top of the list for prevalence of cancer. Ningxia wolfberry does prevent DNA damage. The scientific studies have confirmed that. I love being able to say that with confidence because science has done its research. So how can we cut the risk of cancer? There are 3 ways that the wolfberry can protect against cancer and premature aging. It amplifies liver detoxification. Now, liver is something we're going to also talk about and focus on for a few minutes, but here's kind of where that links and comes together. Researchers have recently discovered powerful liver supporting compounds in the Ningxia Wolfberry. The liver's enzymes are vital for deactivating cancer-causing toxins. It enhances immunity. Just like we talked about with keeping our immune system up, our immune system can keep control of that damaged DNA. The Ningxia Wolfberry contains polysaccharides that increase immune cells that kill mutated or cancerous cells. And it protects against DNA damage and mutations. It's the highest known antioxidant food, like we learned earlier. The Ningxia Wolfberry protects cellular DNA against mutations from free radicals. Over a dozen studies have documented the wolfberry's clinical role in treating cancer. Now, if we looked at all of those studies, I have to say a lot of them might not be from the United States. A lot of these studies are being done over in China, and some of them are in the United States, but a lot of this research dates back to the research they've been doing in China to confirm what the Chinese practitioners have known for a long time.
Really quick, Nina.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are just very odd about the peanuts, and we'd like to just take a minute about
Sure.
Teresa had a question. Where did you get the information from again, from the peanuts being bad for you? I've only heard good things. I know you said a lot of clinicians and practitioners, but please go ahead.
Yes. When I first started shifting over my eating habits, I started with a book called The Omni Diet by an author called Tana Amen. Her husband, Dr. Daniel Amen, is a neuropsychiatrist who does all kinds of brain research. He actually SPECT scans people's brains to figure out what's going on with them, whether that's mental health or ADD or whatever. When we learned about Daniel Amen, because my husband learned about him in the field of addiction medicine, I learned about him in the field of special education. So my husband and I both had this knowledge of Daniel Amen and his research. We found out about 7 or 8 years ago that his wife, Tana Amen, who was an ER trauma nurse, also was the nutritional person who did all the nutritional counseling for his brain patients. And then she wrote a cookbook and did all of the research for gluten, dairy, sugar, corn, and soy. That also included peanuts. And so she gives all of that research and has an entire cookbook to go along with it. If you guys want to know what I eat, how I eat, and why I eat it, it's because of Tana Amen. I'm happy to share that as a resource too later on. Or Tiffany, if you want to drop it in the comments, it's The Omni Diet. And her name is Tana, T-A-N-A. And their last name is Amen, which is just like amen. So they are awesome to follow on social media, and Google them and look at their stuff. But yeah, that's where I started finding out about peanuts specifically. And when I shifted back over to like almonds and cashews for nut butters and stuff. So this slide shows us 2 awesome graphs since we were talking about cancer. The first graph is gastric cancer, and the second graph is cervical cancer. When you look at the dotted line actually look at the straight curved line, the solid black line that's sloping up. That's what happens when the cancer is left untreated. So if gastric cancer is left untreated, that's how the cancer progresses. When the Ningxia Wolfberry fruit is introduced as a treatment, the dotted line along the bottom measures the growth of the cancer when it's treated with Ningxia Wolfberries. Again, if you want to know more about the study, I can get you that from the book, but the graphs themselves visually wowed me, and I wanted to share that with you guys.
Wow, this is amazing. Yes. Like, talk about like holistic medicine working. Like, absolutely. This is crazy.
It is. It's very
Preventative stuff, guys. Preventative.
Yes, exactly. So having a healthy heart is also something that we can do with our wolfberries. The Ningxia wolfberry may represent the most powerful whole food natural intervention to reduce the risk of heart disease. The wolfberry polysaccharides reduce systolic blood pressure by 23% and diastolic blood pressure by 21% in an animal model. And that flags that research in Beijing in 1998. Compound in wolfberries dramatically lowers C-reactive protein, which is the most deadly marker for blood vessel inflammation associated with heart attacks. And so definitely, if heart health is something that's at the top of your priority list, the Ningxia wolfberries are a great way to support your heart. They're also very supportive for vision. The lutein and the zeaxanthin, that goes back to like that beta cryptoxanthin, this is some of that, are key members of the carotenoid family of nutrients, like the beta carotene, that can afford powerful protection against eye-related damage. Studies have shown that high doses of vitamin C can halt cataract progression. 3 ounces of wolfberries have over double the recommended daily allowance of vitamin C. Again, when we start to talk about milligrams and daily allowances, I do have that on a slide later on. Personally,
we have a question.
Yes.
From Teresa. So this is an actual berry that you eat. Does anyone know how does it taste? Is it tart?
Yes, the Ningxia wolfberries, and there's some pictures when I'm popping up with pictures, I'll have to point one out. They grow on a tree that's like a red berry. And I've never eaten the berry fresh by itself, but what we do get, what's more typical to eat is the dried wolfberries. So if you dry that, it gets like, you know, shriveled up and chewy like a raisin. And you can get the dried wolfberries from Young Living. Like I said before, like you can buy goji berries in different health food stores. The Ningxia wolfberries that are grown in the Ningxia region of China have the most nutrients and vitamins and minerals because of the Himalayan river, like the river runoff. But yes, you can get the berries dried. They come in like a 1-pound bag. You can put them in trail mix. You can put them in granola. You can put them in your oatmeal. You can enjoy them however you'd like to. You can even soak them a little bit, kind of like plump them up a little bit, stick them in a smoothie. You can do all kinds of different things. Here we go. Here's a picture of what those little dried wolfberries look like. So Teresa, if you've never happened to try them, if you've enjoyed the Ningxia juice and you've never tried the dried wolfberries, they are delicious. They're sweet. They're not sour. They have almost kind of like a pungent, and I'm not even sure how to describe pungent, but they're kind of like they're not sour. They're not bitter. They're not as sweet as a raisin. Not as sweet, like dried cranberries a lot of times have added sugar, so they taste sweet.
Yeah, they have that added sugar. So for me, they kind of remind me of like dried cranberries, but not the ones that you get from like in like the normal Vons
like
or whatever stores, because those do have like added sugars. But if you've ever had like dried cranberries without the added sugars, it's more similar to that.
Okay. They are delicious and they're good in lots of things. Put on top of your yogurt. Now let's talk about the liver. Love your liver. Let's have new life for your liver. The Ningxia berries have more, there's more glutathione located in your liver than any other organ. Now let's all ask the question, what is glutathione and why is it important? So glutathione is an antioxidant. So remember, that's the Pac-Man that's going to eat the free radicals. It's an antioxidant and your body actually produces glutathione naturally. But our body needs all of the building blocks in order to create it by itself. Glutathione is really important because it helps us release toxins and deal with inflammation. And so we want to have all of the things present in our body to be able to create all the glutathione, and our wolfberries can help us do that. There's a supplement that Young Living makes called sulfurzyme, which also supports our body's production of glutathione. And a lot of times, a lot of us like to pair sulfurzyme with the Ningxia red juice. You can either take them together or you can mix it in and make a drink. But when you are enhancing your body's production of glutathione, you are detoxing your liver, and that is really important. The wolfberry has significant liver protecting properties and detoxification powers for our liver. It can reverse hepatitis damage. It protects against damage from chemicals. And the studies that were done with kind of like using chemicals and then seeing how the liver can process all of that, the chemicals that they used were carbon tetrachloride, and that's dry cleaning solvent. And that kind of jumped out at me. Not that I take my clothing to the cleaners, I really don't. I'm kind of too busy and I can't be bothered. But if you use the dry cleaners often, just so you know, carbon tetrachloride is the toxin that they're using in these studies to proliferate like liver cancer and stuff like that in the lab, so that they can see like how to detox that and how, you know, the Ningxia wolfberries can help with all of that. But I don't know, that carbon tetrachloride kind of jumped out at me and kind of went, ew. I want to make sure that I'm mindful of those kinds of toxins.
Nina, I just wanted to give you a time check just to let you know, so you can just pace yourself. It's 6 o'clock.
Yes. All right, thank you. And we are more than halfway through. So yes, you guys, thank you for hanging in there. There's so much information, and I hope you're taking notes. Again, this is available for replay too, if you want to listen again or if you missed anything. As one of the most powerful whole food liver protectants studied, the Ningxia wolfberry has the potential to supercharge liver detoxification. The compounds found in the wolfberry are 2 to 4 times stronger than milk thistle extract. And a lot of times when we're learning about holistic ways to help our liver, milk thistle is something that comes up a lot. But this is even more powerful than milk thistle, which I found interesting. It's also excellent for your skin. And again, this is going to overlap if we're talking about cancer. We're talking about skin. You know, your skin is often an outward manifestation of internal imbalances. If you're struggling with your gut, you might see it on your skin. My teen who struggled with acne found help with taking probiotics because supporting his gut supported his skin. So if you've got stuff going on with your liver, it can come out as appearances on your skin. Liver health is often correlated with skin health. The Ningxia wolfberry is rich in oxygenated xanthophylls that can protect against basal and squamous cell skin cancers and reduce the risk of melanoma. People eating diets rich in the carotenoids, such as alpha carotene or beta carotene or the beta cryptoxanthin and lutein, were at much lower risk, up to 33%, of contracting malignant melanoma skin cancer. And wolfberry seeds themselves have fatty acids that make moisture retentive humectants and collagen stimulators for the skin. And so I wanted to give a little shout out to the wolfberry eye cream because it has that seed extract in it that's really good for our skin.
It's really funny because Rose is like, what? There's an eye cream?
Yes. All the things. It's awesome.
They actually have like a whole line of like makeup, and that's clean makeup, guys. I actually just ordered some of some of their makeup and I'm loving it. So just know, like, Young Living has some really great cleaning products and makeup products and supplements. It's all of it, guys. Just wanted to throw that out there because we're all like freaking out over the eye cream.
No, right. Oh my gosh, that's so funny, because as we are talking about health and, you know, skin, it's, you know, like cleaning products, we want to make sure we're not using those harsh chemicals and all of that stuff, because all of that plays a role in keeping our health well balanced. If diabetes is a concern, if that's at the top of your list, I have good news. Sugar acts like a free radical in the body. That's bad news. Sugar is bad for your body. And people who consistently consume high glycemic foods can suffer the same type of irreversible organ damage and tissue damage as full-blown diabetics. So let's be mindful of the sugar that we're consuming. Now, here's a study out of Harvard. So much of our research has come out of China, which is awesome, but here's something out of Harvard. A 2002 study out of Harvard tested low glycemic diet and a placebo against popular diabetes drugs. Diet outperformed all of the interventions. And that's not talking about wolfberry specifically. That's talking about diet and exercise versus just taking a pill. Every single study showed that good diet and exercise outperformed the pharmaceuticals.
Really quick,
Yeah.
we had a question while I was talking, so I had missed it.
Yeah.
From Jessica. Nina had explained to me the difference between the capsules and the powder. Can someone remind me?
For sulfurzyme, Jesse's referring to sulfurzyme, absolutely, because the sulfurzyme supplement comes in a capsule or a powder. Part of making that choice, if you're going to use sulfurzyme, is personal preference. Sometimes people prefer to take an oral supplement or take a capsule just for ease of use, or some people might prefer to be able to mix it into something and just drink it. I like to be able to use the mix if I mix it with my Ningxia and make what we call the red drink. One of the things that the powder has that the capsule doesn't have is the prebiotic. And so since we were talking about gut health and prebiotics, the sulfurzyme powder has the prebiotic that you don't get if you do take the capsule. Since we're talking about diabetes, a lot of people know a little bit about the glycemic index. Like glucose is tagged as a 100. Ningxia Wolfberry is one of the lowest glycemic indexes of any food. Its rating is 28.9. So for anybody who is interested in the Ningxia Wolfberry juice, but you might be struggling with your blood sugar or diabetes, and you might be thinking, well, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be drinking juice. Juice is high in sugar, or eating dried fruit. You know, raisins or dried cranberries are a whole other ball game. The Ningxia Wolfberries are a low glycemic index because here's the reason why. Not all sugars are created equal. Much of the sugar in the wolfberry is long chain sugar protein complex, which is called polysaccharides. They behave like slowly digested fiber, and it doesn't increase your sugar the way glucose does. And again, they're 21% fiber. So that fiber helps that sugar that's in there metabolize much more quickly, lowering the glycemic index. And again, L-arginine came up a little bit ago. The amino acid L-arginine can reduce the oxidative stress to the liver and brain that's caused by diabetes and high blood sugar. Wolfberries are high in L-arginine. All right, here's some studies on obesity. So if weight management is at the top of your list of things you want to be mindful of, researchers believe that nutrient deficiencies such as zinc, thiamine, niacin, and chromium may contribute to weight gain and obesity. So again, when we were talking about how high the berries are in vitamin Bs and zinc and all of that, that can also help with weight management. The wolfberries contain more than 100% RDA for each of these, including 21 grams of fiber, 15 grams of protein, and a glycemic index of 29. I'm going to give you more nutritional information later on. So if you have more questions about that, I gotcha. A 2003 study in the Lancet showed that the low glycemic index foods can combat obesity by reducing hunger and food cravings. Wolfberries have more calcium than cottage cheese. Now, here's a really interesting study that higher intake of calcium are associated with lower body mass index and waist size. So there's a correlation, right? Higher calcium can lower your body mass index and weight size. However, the clinical studies showed that when dairy was the source of calcium, it showed the opposite. So the evidence suggests that calcium can trigger weight loss as long as the source is not dairy.
Dang, you can't just go and eat all the cheese.
Right, I know, I wish we could, right? Cheese, all the cheese, especially, man, I ate so much cheese this week with Thanksgiving. But yes, you know, we all think calcium and then we think dairy. And if we're talking about weight management, we want to be mindful of that and look at the calcium and look at some other sources for calcium. Ningxia Wolfberries being an excellent source of calcium, and looking at other food groups like leafy greens and stuff like that. 100 grams of dried wolfberries contain 79 micrograms of chromium. Chromium is crucial to proper insulin action and glucose removal from the blood. So again, this kind of brings in that issue of, we're talking about weight management, but also we're talking about insulin and diabetes. And so the chromium that's in the Ningxia wolfberries are going to be very supportive for both of those. We talked about mental health a little bit at the beginning. So if we're talking about depression or mental health, the Ningxia wolfberry may be effective in relieving depression and boosting energy due to its rich trove of bioactive nutrients, such as thiamine, niacin, and arginine. It's the highest whole food source of vitamin B1. Thiamine supplementation can reduce daytime sleep, improve sleep patterns, and increase activity. There was a study that showed patients with severe depression had much lower levels of arginine in their blood. So keeping our levels of arginine higher can be helpful for our mental health. And poor magnesium and zinc can also contribute to mood disorders and depression. And Tiffany, I love that you found studies that I didn't find about linking vitamin C along with the B vitamins, also for reduction in depression.
So because I've struggled with depression, I did a lot of studies, and specifically in holistic nature. So they actually did an IV of just straight up vitamin C, incredible doses. And what they found was there were two in particular studies that stood out to me the most. And the first one, the girl, she didn't even talk to her family. She never came out of her room. She stayed in her room like almost 24/7. She didn't really talk. She didn't come down for dinner. She like nothing. So very, I mean, depressed. And it got to a point where her parents were like, we need to do something. So they decided to try holistic, and they did high doses of vitamin C. Within a couple of days, they already started noticing a huge difference in her demeanor. She started coming down for dinner. And within the week, they started noticing that she was just so much better. But what ended up happening with this study was really interesting, because when they went to their typical MD kind of doctor, the doctor warned them, oh, that could be dangerous. And so they immediately stopped. They didn't want to hurt their daughter. And she immediately regressed back into closing and to her room, not coming down for dinner, having dinners delivered door to door, kind of a thing all over again. So that was a one-off because of how that study had happened,
Right.
and the family deciding to take her off and then put her back on. So the worst side effects of having ridiculously high vitamin C, and this is intravenous, we're talking like way more than we could ever without an IV, were mild headaches. That was one of the most common. That is it. That's crazy.
Right.
So as far as getting enough vitamin C, you'll be all right. Like,
Yeah.
eat all the vitamin C, you'll be fine. At least that's kind of how I've done it. If I feel like I'm taking a dip, I definitely up my vitamin C and I drink a little additional Ningxia Red. I do very well with that. I might take a Ningxia Red in the morning, and if I do feel that dip, I start adding in additional ounces, like maybe around like 2 o'clock. I might take like one of the packets again. I don't always. It's only when I start feeling you can feel yourself sliding, and I know myself well enough that I can feel that slide now. So for me to see some of these studies, I'm going, I definitely need to keep my vitamin C up, and this is a really easy way to help me do that. So also, I'm just going to go over to the comments really quick. Rachel said, friends, seriously, type in Ningxia, which we want in each of our orders. So go into the search engine in your virtual office and you'll see just how many products have Ningxia Wolfberry in them. And then you hashtag order all the things.
Thank you. Absolutely.
So thank you for that, Rachel. That was so genius.
Definitely. Yes. And our last bullet point on that slide is just what a rich source of bioavailable magnesium that the Ningxia wolfberries are. And again, we could go on and on. I got on about magnesium and the high statistics of being magnesium deficient and what that does, but our wolfberries will keep our magnesium in check. There were also some studies on migraines, and I know that is also a hot topic for a lot of people. So let me share one of the studies that the book outlined, that the Ningxia wolfberries may help migraine sufferers. There was a study done with children and adolescents who suffer chronic tension type headaches. They were given 200 milligrams of magnesium 2 times daily for 2 months. Again, that wasn't specific wolfberries, but it was a magnesium supplement. They were given the magnesium. Throughout the course of the study, the results were that there was a 76% reduction in their migraine and headache symptoms. And during the course of the study, only 1 child needed to take an analgesic medication outside of just taking the magnesium supplement. So when we look at the levels of magnesium in the Ningxia wolfberries, you could draw some conclusions about migraines and headaches. Ellagic acid protects against toxins. So there's this specific type of acid in the wolfberries that help protect against toxins in our body. And I am, for the sake of time, going to try to go a little bit faster because I know you guys probably want to move on with your evening. But the way ellagic acid does this is that it deactivates cancer-causing chemicals, including aflatoxin B1. That was that thing from the peanuts. That toxin is in other kinds of foods, but the ellagic acid can deactivate that when it is in our body. It can bind and protect DNA from methylating carcinogens. It amplifies liver detoxification by increasing our glutathione. And the ellagic acid works by chemically binding to the cellular DNA in a beneficial way that blocks the assault of the free radicals and cancer-causing chemicals. Studies have documented the ability of ellagic acid to protect against lung, liver, skin cancer, and suppressed cell proliferation and apoptosis in cancer cells. Apoptosis is cell death. It's what we want if we have cancer cells in our body. Ellagic acid also blocked the formation of cancer in human bladder tumor cells and blocked the growth of breast cancer cells by 45%. So again, I wasn't sure if I should put this under the heading of cancer prevention or just the fact that it's the ellagic acid that does these things. Ellagic acid can deactivate the cancer-causing effects of a specific carcinogen that's linked to esophageal cancer. Now, we're moving a little bit past the Ningxia wolfberries, and we're going to talk about a few of the extra things that are in the Ningxia juice, because the Ningxia red juice isn't just wolfberries. It also has pomegranate juice in it, because pomegranates are rich in the ellagic acid that we just talked about. They're the 5th highest in the ORAC. That's that antioxidant absorption rate. They can combat DNA mutation and cancer growth. They can fight heart disease, stop the growth of candida in the intestinal tract. And the Ningxia juice also has blueberries because they're good for your brain. Blueberries protect the brain, heart, liver against the oxidative damage that occurs with age. And citrus. Ningxia juice has citrus in it for cellular repair. Citrus fruit contains fruit, pulp, and rind, but the most valuable part is the rind. That's where the essential oils come from. And the essential oils from the rind contain limonene. Google limonene. Over 50 clinical studies show that limonene combats a variety of cancers and cell mutations. We want all of the essential oils for tangerine and grapefruit and all of those citrus fruits for this reason. Limonene can prevent cancer and stop the progression of cancer. Now the DNA, now I can say that because research has been done about limonene. It would be non-compliant and the FDA would come after me if I replace the word limonene with a word from an essential oil, with an essential oil fruit. So the way to say that is limonene can prevent cancer and stop the prevention of cancer. You guys can connect all of the dots. There is nothing new under the sun. My point on this is we might have just learned about Ningxia red juice. Young Living may have just started making Ningxia red juice, however many years ago, right? It was back in the 90s. So in the scope of things, that's still relatively new. Fun fact, it wasn't always called Ningxia red juice. Who knows what it used to be called? Come on, Tiff. When it first came out, is anybody going to drop it in the comments?
I actually don't know. I don't remember. I know I've learned it, but I forgot.
When it first came out, it was called berry young juice. It was called berry.
Rachel was close. She said berry juice?
Yes, it was called berry young juice, and then it got called Ningxia red. But the point is, there's nothing new under the sun. They've been eating these berries in China for many, many years. The studies that are referred to in this comment go back to the 1980s. According to a report from the State Scientific and Technological Commission of China, the wolfberry fruits were effective in increasing white blood cells, protecting the liver, relieving hypertension, displaying an insulin-like action that was effective in promoting fat decomposition and reducing blood sugar. The commission also noted that the wolfberry extract inhibited cancer growth by 58%. These studies, the actual studies go back to the 1980s, but Chinese practitioners have been using this for hundreds of years. They just had to do all the research to confirm what they already knew. I promised you guys some nutritional information. Here is a slide. This is in the Wolfberry book. I believe it's also in the desk reference. And again, I'm happy to link this to you or shoot it to you on Facebook or whatever. In 100 grams of dried wolfberries, which is 1 cup of the dried wolfberry fruits, take a look at the amount and the RDA value. Again, also understand that the United States RDA might not really be telling us all of the amounts of the nutrients that we need for our own personal health, but the numbers are pretty astonishing. When we look at the protein content, when we look at the vitamin A and the vitamin B1, when we look at the potassium and the magnesium, these numbers are the highest you're going to get from any actual food source outside of trying to amp things up with taking like synthetic vitamins or things like that. I'm going to leave this up for a second. If anybody wants to take a screenshot, you can. But again, if you reach out to me, I'm happy to shoot this over to you. So let's reflect for just a minute. Who here has learned something new other than the original name for Ningxia red juice? All right, if you want to drop that in the comments, you can. I hope everybody learned. I learned so many new things by just studying the book.
I learned new things too.
PowerPoint together, yes. Who made a list of all the ways Ningxia Wolfberries can help them? Yes, whether that's a mental list or you actually wrote some things down. Again, I love that our presentation is recorded. So if you felt like, oh my gosh, I couldn't write fast enough, you can come back and look at our PowerPoint again. Who wants to drink all the Ningxia juice and eat all the berries right now? Every time, you guys, as I was studying for our class and reading the book and working on my PowerPoint over the past few weeks, every time I did, I ran into the kitchen and I grabbed a handful of berries and a packet of the juice because I couldn't unlearn. You can't unknow something once you know it. Now, I am going to walk through the next few slides. If anybody has not ever purchased from Young Living and you're wondering, how can I get my hands on some of that juice? I am going to walk through for anybody who's never seen the Young Living website or made a purchase before. I will walk you through it. I'm going to do it quickly, but if you're watching it on a replay, you can pause that. You can reach out and ask questions. There is a starter bundle where you can start out with some juice. And it comes with 2 bottles, 2 big 750 milliliter bottles of the juice. Ningxia Nitro, which is another Ningxia supplement we didn't even get time to talk about, and 30 singles of those little 2-ounce packets. They bundle that for anybody who just wants to start out with using some of the juice.
Hey guys, just so you know, that's also crazy discounted because it is actually worth, I don't know, what is it, like $250? It's worth over $250.
Yes.
I don't remember the exact amount, but $135 is a smoking deal. Like if you haven't started out, like you need to go get that because we don't even get that kind of a deal. Only newbies get that deal. So
right. That's a good smoking point. Awesome. And because today is Cyber Monday, if anybody does jump in and grab that bundle, I am going to gift a 5 milliliter bottle of Christmas Spirit Essential Oil because we just did, what was the Friday one? On Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. You guys, I would be happy to gift you a little something wonderful if you would like to jump in and get started. If you are placing an order for the first time and you've never seen a Young Living website, you're going to go to youngliving.com. It's going to walk you through some options. You want to click where it says become a member because your bundle comes with a lifetime membership. When it prompts you for the code, this is my code number. Again, you can jot that down. You can screenshot it, or you can hit replay on our little presentation. My membership code number for you to use is right up here on the top of the screen. It's going to invite you to choose what kind of bundle you want to get started with. You can get started with essential oils. If you click on other premium kits, that's where it's going to show you Thieves Cleaner, Ningxia Red Starter Kit, because it's going to default to where it says popular premium kits. That's going to be all the essential oil kits, which you totally can do. But if you're looking for Ningxia, it's going to be under the other premium kits tab. The next thing it's going to invite you to do is to subscribe and save. When you say yes to the rewards program, you're going to score free shipping, and you're also going to score points that you can use to either buy more juice or to buy some essential oils or anything else you might want. So you can click yes on would you like to enroll? Go ahead and say yes. Honestly, it's not an obligation. You can cancel anytime. Also, it's going to invite you, do you want to use your premium starter kit as your first rewards order? That's how you're going to score those points to be used dollar for dollar. Go ahead and say yes to that. Then it's going to ask you for your next, what do you want your next order to include? Because we don't just want you to drink all your juice and be out of juice. Trust me, you want more juice coming to your front door by the time you run out. They do have an option. You can get another bundle, which is another whole bundle of juice. If you want to customize, if you just want 2 bottles of juice, or if you want to order some other things, if you want some essential oils or some shampoo and shower gel, which also is amazing.
Or the Wolfberry eye cream.
Wolfberry eye cream, yes. Customize your kit. Then it's like a shopping cart. You can put whatever you want in it. It's going to save that shopping cart till next month. And you have until next month to change what you have in your cart or to go ahead and ship it. If you like math and you want to know the least pricey way, the cheapest way to get your hands on juice, if you're already a Young Living member, you've already got a membership, you've already bought some stuff, here's how you can get the best deal. Also, just a side note, here's the picture of the dried wolfberries. Teresa, you were asking about the berries specifically. This is what that bag of wolfberries looks like. It's a whole pound. It lasts quite a while, unless you're like me and you eat them with everything. You get a whole pound, and that is available from Young Living. You could get it with your Essential Rewards order. Now, what is the cheapest way, ounce per ounce, to drink your juice? The top choice right here is what's called the Essential Rewards Kit. 4 bottles and a box of packets. When you do the math on that, it's $1.22 per ounce. 1 ounce, drink your ounce. And I would spend more money at Starbucks full of sugar. What's that going to do to my free radicals in my immune system? Or I can drink my $1.22 and have a nice day. Another option.
Yeah. I just want to make the comparison because I go to Jamba Juice a lot. And Jamba Juice's ginger shots and wheatgrass shots are not nearly as nutritious as this is, and they cost more. So I'm just saying, I'd rather take a shot of this than go to my Jamba Juice and get the shots of the wheatgrass, which, by the way, tastes like grass. This actually tastes good, and it's way better for you. So, yeah, definitely cheaper.
Right. And somebody asked me once when we were talking about juice, like, what does that taste like? Is it like doing a shot of wheatgrass? And I'm like, no, not at all. It's way better. It's a delicious little juice. And so I'm not gonna talk about each of these pricing options, but you can eyeball that and see, honestly, the more you purchase in a bundle, the cheaper it is per ounce. And so that's the basic math of Ningxia
It's also
juice.
really great for family.
Yes. My husband and my son drink it every day with me. We have shot glass, which is funny because we don't drink alcohol in our house, but we have shot glasses that we bought on vacation in Cabo San Lucas. We pour our shot every morning with breakfast. We cheers and we throw it back. And so it helps all of our body systems. Now you guys know everything that it does, so you know why I drink it every day. But those are the different purchasing options for either purchasing bottles where you can pour your own, or the sachets or the packets, grab and go. It's totally ease of use for whatever works for you. Now, if you are starting something new, if you are starting Ningxia juice or essential oils or anything for the very first time, if you are starting with a Young Living membership, trying something new can be scary. I am here to hold your hand. So I am happy to talk. I'm happy to meet a lot of friends I meet on the phone monthly, and we chat about wellness goals, because we can talk about body systems and hormones and digestion and immune support. We can talk about all these things, and I am happy to come alongside of you. If you want to try something new and you're just intimidated with, oh, but I'm just not sure what I'm going to do once that box arrives, that's where I come in, because I am happy to help. Cheers. This is one of my favorite mocktail recipes. Our next few slides are just going to wrap things up with a few fun recipes. I cheersed on my birthday with a fancy Ningxia Red champagne glass, and what was in that was about an ounce of Ningxia Red juice, 2 drops of any citrus oil, because I want that limonene. Fill your glass with sparkling water, one of the flavored kinds or a plain one, whatever. Super fun and tasty. A hot Ningxia cider popped up on Facebook last week, so I had to share that. Get some apple cider, get some Ningxia, get some vitality oils going in there, and make yourself a nice hot drink. One of my favorite drinks to make when we start to get close to the wellness line. Sometimes I don't even wait till I fall below. I can feel myself inch closer to that wellness line, and this is what I make. I call it a super slam. It's a cup of herbal tea, any kind you like, 1 or 2 ounces of Ningxia juice. Then get your vitality oils and do 2 drops each, lemon, frankincense, and thieves. When you drink that, I can't tell you what you're going to replace that usually we drink that's hot when we don't feel awesome. I'm not allowed to make over-the-counter comparisons. But if you drink your super slam, you have to say it like me, and you have to go super slam. All right?
So, you guys, she gave me this recipe when she was back in California, to give you just an idea. And I love this. It totally helps. And if you're like me, you might just love your Thieves Vitality oil. I actually just add an extra drop of that as well. Amazing. Her super slam, legit.
At our house, it goes like this. Super slam, here you go. All right, I think that's compliant, right? I can do that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Ningxia Red shots. Remember, we don't do shots at our house, but we do shots of Ningxia Red. Now, if you can see this on your screen share, I think you can. I'm on my laptop, so I can see the full screen. There's all kinds of fun little recipes for dripping vitality oils with your Ningxia juice. I mean, you can just drink your juice, or you can make it fun and make yourself an atomic fireball with cinnamon and ginger, or put different oils. When you do that, make sure it's a glass and it's not a little plastic cup or a Dixie cup, because we want to make sure that our oils are only going into a glass. But that, you guys, I'll leave this up for a second. If anybody wants to screenshot, again, I can post it on Facebook or put it in the group. But that concludes, let me check the time. Thank you guys for hanging in there for this whole class about our wolfberries. You guys are awesome. Feel free to continue asking questions. You can reach out to me personally. You can reach out in the Facebook groups that we're in, because we're all kind of in a a lot of the groups. If you're not in a group, let us help you get plugged in. If you have caught us on Facebook and this is your first time learning about Ningxia juice or Young Living or anything, and you're not in our Inspired Oilers Facebook group, please let me know on Facebook, drop a comment, reach out to me personally. I would love to answer your questions, come alongside, invite you into our wellness groups on Facebook so that you can ask all the people all the questions, and we'll help you get connected. But thank you so much, you guys. I hope that
really
this class
truly
has
is.
blessed you.
Yes, definitely. There's everyone saying, thank you, Nina. You're the bomb. So much good information. Some Rachel's like runs to make a super slam.
Yeah.
So everyone has just wonderful feedback. Thank you so much, you guys. If you are not in our group, like Nina said, please let us know. We want to get you connected because everybody has just so many different experiences with what works for them, and everybody's body is different. No one body is going to be the exact same or react the same.
Absolutely.
And you can kind of get that feedback and say, hey guys, I have a question, and get, you know, all different walks of life in these groups. So we definitely want to get you connected. If you have a question, feel free to actually come off your mic or onto and use your voice so that we can hear you, because we're done with the class and we'll hang out for just a little bit longer. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yes, I have a question. Thank you
Hi,
so
Rose.
much, Nina. Gosh, I learned so much. So I'm going to be ordering some more things now that I learned a lot tonight. But my question is as we're going into December, do you guys know, have a heads up of what the promotion is for December, or is it going to be the same as November?
No, they're always different. Oh, so sorry, Nina. I wish we had a heads up, but we don't. Everyone
So
learns
Rose, yes.
what they are at
What
11.
Aubrey said, we all stalk Facebook at 11 p.m. tonight because that's midnight Mountain Time. And so at midnight, Young Living will release that next month's promo. The end of every month is like Christmas for me, and I will stay up till 11 to watch Facebook before I go to bed. And
I have my order ready sitting there, and I keep checking it to see if the promotion has changed.
Right.
Like,
as
what am I
soon
getting?
as 11 o'clock, at 11:01, it will change your cart. But
you can post it.
Yeah, and Rose, just so you know, because I've done it, when you look at your cart at 11:01, it takes a while for the promos listed to all load on. So don't go by that, because it might only show like one thing or two things. And then you're like, wait, what? Look at Facebook, because one of the leadership groups and our group will post it, and you'll get to see what the December specials are.
So if you are new to Young Living and you're like, what are you talking about promotions? So what Rose is talking about there's different tiers. There's 300, 250, 190, and 100. And if you hit any of those tiers, you get all of the promotions underneath. So at 100, you get free shipping, which is amazing. Hello, somebody, free shipping. So 100, at 190, 250 and 300. Sometimes there's a 400, usually in December, because you know all the Christmas things, there's usually a 400, but I can't guarantee it. They will have different supplements, oils, makeup products, ornaments that have been made by hand and help women in other countries to support their family. Like, it is amazing. So all of the promotions always change every single month. And a lot of the times it'll be like inner defense supplement. And I'm like, I already had that in my cart. I can take it out and add something else. So yes, tonight at 11, and we will definitely be posting it in all of the groups.
Yeah. All right, you guys, I know everybody's signing off and getting ready for dinner and stuff. And so thank you again so much. I am going to go ahead and back out of our Facebook live stream.
Bye, Facebook.
And so
Thank you guys.
thank you, Facebook. You guys are wonderful.
Bye.
And I'm going
Good
to
night,
go
Rose.
ahead and, so Tiffany, I hit the end, so that shut down Facebook. Now, when I go ahead and end our Zoom, I'm going to do that next, right? All right.
Yeah, so
here
when
I
you
go,
end your
guys. All right,
Zoom-
thank you again.
When you
Yep.
end your Zoom, it will have a couple of the things from the recording. Go ahead and let it load. You might have like a little loading bar. And then once it loads, you'll have
Right.
the all of the different things. So you'll have the chat, you'll have the audio, the visual, etc. And you can
Right.
save that the audio or the video file, and you can test it with me
Yes.
and do an email, because sometimes it might want to do it as a zip file, and you might have to do it in
Okay.
Google Drive because it'll be too big. So test it with me a
Right.
couple of times and we'll make sure that it can send okay.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks again.